strengthens our discernment and guides our steps, and then He clothes us in His armor from head to toe as we go throughout this day. I just want to start out the video by saying thank you to anybody that's sending prayers up in my behalf. Last night was a rough night. Today has been a rough day so far. I've been fighting a bad tooth and fighting life in general. And I'm not used to having to do that anymore. So thank you for any of the unspoken support that might be going out there. That being said, I'm here with the daily devotion from Sarah Young's Jesus Calling for October 3rd, 2024. When many things seem to be going wrong, trust me. When your life feels increasingly out of control, thank me. These are supernatural responses, and they can lift you above your circumstances. If you do what comes naturally in the face of difficulties, you may fall prey to negativism. Even a few complaints can set you on a path that is a downward spiral by darkening your perspective and your mindset. With this attitude controlling you, complaints flow more and more readily from your mouth. Each one moves you steadily down a slippery spiral. The lower you go, the faster you slide. But it is still possible to apply the brakes. Cry out to me in my name. Affirm your trust in me, regardless of how you feel. Thank me for everything. Though this seems unnatural, even irrational, gradually you will begin to ascend, recovering your lost ground. When you are back on ground level, you can face your circumstances from a humble perspective. If you choose supernatural responses this time, trusting and thanking me, you will experience my unfathomable peace. She references Psalms chapter 13, verse 5, and Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20. It is very hard. And she says it so well, almost supernatural, to be able to be thankful even when things look dark, even when things look dangerous, or even when things look unsolvable. I've been down that road many times. I live on that road. I think we all do. It's not natural to us to remember all the things that we have to be grateful for, because the world seems to be falling apart around us. The ways of this world make it very difficult to think from that perspective. The laws, the restrictions, the financial demands, the physical demands of this world don't make it easy to be thankful. But as you will often hear, nobody said it was going to be easy. And in the heat of emotion, that can be a very triggering comment. Especially when you feel alone in your situation. But that's when it's very important to not live in your emotions. And it's very hard to do that sometimes, especially when you feel like there's no solution in sight. Prayer, gratitude, that spiritual relationship, that spiritual connection are most important in times of struggle. It's important all the time, but most important in times of struggle, because that's when we become weak to the darkness. We almost run to it. Something that I've had to become very aware of, and I think especially for women, it's something that most of us struggle with at some point or another, not necessarily all the time, but when we are overcome with emotion, no matter what that emotion is. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad emotions, but sometimes we let them get the best of us. We get down on ourselves. That self-pity comes in. We start feeling sorry for ourselves. But you don't have to look very far to find somebody that's in a worse situation than you are. Or you don't have to look very far to find a reason to push through. There have been many times in my life where I just wanted to give up. Just go crawl in a hole somewhere and just disappear. Definitely not a good frame of mind to be in. But understandable just the same. And sometimes it's hard to find a compassionate heart that truly understands. And even when you do find one, usually the people that want to help you or are willing to help you can't, for whatever reason. And the people that can aren't willing to. At least that's been my experience. This world will test us in every way possible. It will tempt us. It will tease us. It will taunt us. Just because it knows our weaknesses. Life can become very overwhelming. And I could sit here and give you hundreds of examples. But when it's all said and done, most of us don't need to hear those examples. We live life, so we know what they are. I just want to send loving, healing vibes, energy, encouragement to anybody who's struggling today. Struggling to get out of bed this morning. Struggling to stay positive. Struggling to keep pushing. For whatever reason. I pray that you find the strength to make it through the day. I pray that you find one person that can help you smile today. I pray that you find one thing to be grateful for. Along with everything else that I've been through in the last 48 hours. Well, I mean, 40 years, really. Copper, my big boy, got loose this morning. He slipped out of his harness while they were outside on their lead. And where we're at right now, we're by a main highway. And he was gone for, I'm going to say, probably about 35 minutes. And I was so mad. But at the same time, I was so sad. But it kind of drew me back in a little bit. You know? And reminded me of what emotions, the effect that they have. Because it was like the whole world stopped. I wasn't thinking about anything else but him. And even though I was so mad at him, I was so thankful when he showed back up. Sometimes we need that something, whatever it is, to reel us back in. But unfortunately, we don't always have that. We don't always have that physical person, pet, whatever thing to snap us back to reality. And that's when it's most important to pray. Pray for discernment. Pray for your spirit guides, your angels, your guardian angels, your heavenly Father to come down and comfort you and guide you and point you in the right direction, whatever that is. Every situation's different, but every situation matters. And even though it may seem simple to somebody else, it's not simple to you, the one who's living it. And even though so many people may ignore your pain or your confusion or your fear, I'm here to tell you that I'm not ignoring it. Just like I can't ignore my own. I see people suffering all the time. That's a lot of the reason why I don't like getting out. I'm happy being at home most of the time. I get antsy every now and then, you know, where I need to get out and see the world a little bit. But for the most part, I'm content being a homebody because I see pain in everybody that I come in contact with. I can feel it. And it makes me sad that in a day and time when so many people are in need in so many different ways, whether that's physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, there are so many people in need. But there are so many people pumping money and energy and time and effort and into things that don't even matter. Like, I'm going to say this if I've got enough time and then I'm going to go. I saw a little clip of a woman in Atlanta after the storm. And they were literally still pulling dead bodies out of the water. And all she could talk about was how she didn't get to get her hair finished. People are just so cold-hearted. I don't understand it. That being said, be grateful for what you have. The big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. If you see a need out there, today, tomorrow, next week. If there's any possible way that you can fill that need, please do so. You may not only better their day, but you could possibly change their life, and you never know the impact it can have on yours. Be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.